Hey everybody, so I'm making another video right now. Been trying to squeeze this in for the last couple days. Changed my angle up a little bit because Joe gave me some advice. He said that I should start making my videos more like the ones that we made instead of how I was doing it before. So I don't even know what I'm about to talk about right now. I guess I'm freestyling, but that's how I do my life, I guess. Let me see. So I guess this video, I'm gonna start, like, I read all you guys' comments. Wait, before I even do that, let me say this. I really appreciate every single one of you guys that subscribe to my channel. That means an awful lot to me, and I appreciate you more than you know. So thank each and every one of you for that. And so that being said, I've been reading the comments, and you know, a lot of people have commented, you know, because obviously when you Google my story, I had co-defendants. My little brother was there, and my girlfriend. We all three got arrested. My parents were really apprehensive about me doing this. They really didn't want me to do it, but I felt like, you know, this story needs to be told. But I promised them that I wouldn't say anything about my little brother. And, you know, this is my baby brother, and I'm super protective of him. So yeah, basically those guys, oh, also, there's been I saw a lot of like negative comments about Emily and being a stripper and how I was dumb for ever even trying to bring her there. And, you know, maybe that's true. But I wanted to put this out, and I want to tell you guys this, that I'll always love Emily. She stayed in the county jail for all those 4 years. You know, they went to her when it all happened. Like, basically they held them guys for ransom. They knew they didn't do anything. They didn't have no type of case on them. And they went to her and said, look, just testify for us. You know, he doesn't care about you anyway, blah blah blah. You know, and they begged her to give them a statement on me and to turn state's evidence, you know. And she sat in jail. They said, you can walk out of here today, you know. And she sat there for 4 years because she wouldn't, you know, lie, essentially, and like all the other state's witnesses did. Like those people, you guys wouldn't believe this, man, but like the bartender that he told he was going to kill her and kill her kids, like, she got up there and fake cried. Both the bartenders got up there and pretended to cry, and it was totally fake. Like, you can tell. I mean, when people cry, water, you know, liquid comes out of their eyes. And also Peggy Floyd testified, and she got up there and did the same thing, and it was pathetically phony. You know, that's all there is to it. Like, it was that bad. Like, it was disgusting. But back to the point. I told you I'd get off on tangents. Emily and my brother both sat in the county jail for 4 years. They held them hostage, pretty much. And when I said on the other video that I agreed to take a 7-year plea deal, I did that under the condition that they let them go. And they said, well, we're letting them go anyway. So I was just like, well, never mind. I'm going to trial. But at some point, my attorney, Tom Militano, he came to me and was like, look, dude, like, you can't gamble with your life like that. Take the 7. Just take the 7. Like, and he talked me into it. So I was just like, you know, because, I mean, it is a scary thing facing life in prison. And when, you know, I already had 4 in. If I had 7, I'd have did another year or 2 and been home. But so I did. I was like, well, first I told them I would do it if they would let them go. Then after that, I said no. But then my lawyer came back and like talked me into taking it. So I was just like, okay, whatever, I'll take it. And that's when they were just like, yeah, no. They were just messing with me. Just, I guess, I don't know why they did that. But anyway, I wanted to say that about Emily. You know, I kind of hate to do this because I don't want people to think bad of her. You know, she's got kids and stuff now, and also she got my name tattooed on her, and she ended up marrying a tattoo artist and was married to this guy for years. I don't guess they're together anymore, but they got kids and stuff, and that guy for years tried to cover up my name on her, and she wouldn't let him do it. So, you know, like, I understand where you guys are coming from. Like, yeah, she did kind of play a part in all this happening, but you know, regardless of what she did for a living, that doesn't give people the right to touch her or say the things that were said to her, you know. So yeah, that's about all I have to say about that. Also, I'm gonna address a couple of comments. So I don't remember which one of you guys it was. I could go back in the phone and look and see your name, but someone asked me, did I know Peter Papasavas? And the answer to that is yes. Also, on the other video, there was a comment. I'm not sure if this guy has subscribed to my channel or not, so I'm not sure if you're seeing this, but he commented on the other video, and he said, I heard the name Planker, and I wonder if he's talking about Kevin. Well, I clearly called him Kevin in the video, so I guess he must have missed that, but yes, Kevin Planker is who I'm talking about. He was my cellmate for a couple years. We ended up, well, I guess like a year and a half. Like, I spent half my time there in Trenton, back in the hole in Adseg, because we tested positive for marijuana. And I mean, I guess I don't smoke it anymore, but if I would, I could, but I can't, you know, due to my job and stuff. But I could talk about that too. But anyway, yes, Kevin Planker did murder his girlfriend, and that's, I don't want to say, I mean, okay, so in that place where I was at, there's a lot of really, really bad people that did a lot of messed up stuff, and that used to bother me a lot. Matter of fact, I might go into some of that in this video, but first I'm going to tell you a story about Peter Papasavas and Kevin Planker. So we were all in the same unit together in the South Compound at one time, and when I first got over there, this guy, I didn't know anybody. I kind of just like stayed to myself, and this guy would come up and start talking to me, and he seemed like a nice guy. And I knew him for quite a while, quite some time before I ever knew like what he did. But I was in my cell one day, and my dad I had a motion in the court trying to get me a new trial. This is before the appellate court ever overturned my conviction. But my father, the jury was, in my first trial, was sequestered. That means they were not to speak with each other. They were not to associate with they were not to talk to any of the state's witnesses or any of my witnesses. They were supposed to be completely separated. Well, my dad saw one of my jurors in the elevator talking to the state's blood spatter expert. This guy, he testified as a blood spatter expert, a lead detective on the scene, and an expert witness. Or no, that was the blood spatter. He testified 3 different times as like 3 different things. A policeman, the detective, the blood spatter expert, and I can't remember what else he testified about, but he took the stand 3 different times. His name was Kenneth Wise. But my dad saw one of the jurors talking to him, and they weren't supposed to be talking. So we had filed a motion to get my case thrown out based on that, and they ended up denying that motion, by the way. But I was in my cell one day, and I was cellmates with Planker, and the cops came to my door. They said, "Gentry, legal mail." So I go to the little pie flap thing. They throw a manila envelope down, pull the papers out, flip through it, and then slide them through my door. So I start to read this brief, and in legal briefs, they cite other cases. Like I said something before about my case being the law. That's called case law, state versus Gentry. Like you guys could actually look up my case law if you wanted to. It's on like Westlaw, LexisNexis. You could probably Google it. But anyway, I'm reading this brief, and there's a case cited, and it says State versus Papasavas. And I had only ever heard that name, only in my whole life, I'd only ever heard that name. It was a Greek. The guy was a Greek. And he was the only person I'd ever known with that name. And he just happened to be right outside my door. And I yelled out for him. I said, "Hey, Pete." He come up to the window. He said, yeah, Master J. I don't know why he called me. Like, well, I kind of do, because we were watching some weird forensic files, and it was like some weird crap. But he called me Master J. And he's like, "Yeah, what's up, Master J?" And I showed him that brief. I said, "Hey, do you know this guy?" He looked at it, and I could see like his face like turn white, and like he was like, "Yeah." He goes, "That's me." And so I said, "Well, your case is cited in my brief, so I'm getting ready to go down to the law library and read your case." And he was like, "I just gotta warn you, man, it's not pretty." So I was like, "All right." And I, put in a pass to go to the law library and went down there, and I looked his case up on the computer. And like, I don't even like talking about this kind of stuff, but I guess, all you guys are from the After Prison show. You probably like things like this. But it's pretty disgusting what this guy did. But I guess I'm going to go ahead and tell you, as bad as I hate to vocalize this. The guy was smoking crack, and he went into one of his neighbor's houses, which was an elderly woman, and he was like rummaging through her basement, and she heard something going on in her basement, and she went down to see what it was, and he like jumped out and strangled her to death with a yellow belt from a raincoat. And he cut her clothes off. He cut around her pantyhose, and I'm trying to think of a good way to say this without being too graphic, but he left his DNA on her. And so I came back from the law library with that shit printed out, and I showed Kevin, Kevin murdered his girlfriend. He did something really atrocious too. He never really talked about it to me, but I knew, he told me that he had killed his girlfriend, but he never really gave the details or why he did it, and I didn't ask him. I know that's a really heinous thing to do, but you have to understand that, and you guys will understand when I start telling you about some of these other people and what they did. And that's something that used to really bother me. Actually, somebody also asked me about my tattoos. Real quick, I know I'm getting off on a tangent, but yeah, I do so yeah, this is a Vegvisir, or no, this is the Helm of All. It's a Viking, like a protection rune basically, and I have runes on my knuckles. I'll probably get into talking about runes at some point. This is the outlaw Jesse James. This guy invented train robbing, and his great grandfather is my 5 times great grandfather. So that at some point I'm gonna get into I know I'm not racist because I have a Confederate flag on me. I have plenty of friends of all ethnicities, and I've never been a racist. I have the owl on my neck. Owls symbolize, wisdom, and that's something that I am like a seeker of wisdom. I guess what I got around here. So people ask me if I have prison tattoos. This is that's actually me in the electric chair. That's my state number from New Jersey, 708-166. And people ask me why I got this. And that is my, it's me being electrocuted, like flipping the birds to everybody that did that to me, because I honestly felt that I didn't deserve it, and the world had thrown me away because I was in there with all these people that did all these horrible things, and I didn't belong with them, but yet I was forced to live with them. I wore the same clothes as them. I ate the same food as them. I had to go to be where they were at, and that really like bothered me. And also, when you see somebody that's supposed to be the side of righteousness, you know, like the fact finders, the truth, you know, the justice system, and when you see the criminal links that they go to hide witnesses, though, you guys haven't even heard the half of it yet. Like, they destroyed evidence. My very first motion that I filed in court when all that first happened was a motion to preserve evidence, because I was like, look, get the cameras from the hotel and you can see these dudes jumping me and all that, like everything that I'm saying is true, and they got cameras there, so get that camera footage. So very first motion I filed in court was a motion to preserve evidence, mainly being the hard drive, the surveillance camera footage from the hotel, which was granted. They granted me that motion. Then when it came time for discovery, my lawyer was like, we got the tapes from the hotel. So I was like, awesome. I couldn't wait to see it. I was like, this is going to prove everything that I'm saying is true. You know, that the prosecution is calling me a liar. And you guys will not believe this. It had been taped over by the Bergen County Sheriff's Office. Now, I wasn't in Bergen County. I was in Sussex County. But Sussex County sent that hard drive to Bergen County because allegedly they didn't have the technology for it or something. And Bergen County Sheriff's Office somehow accidentally taped over that hard drive with child pornography. And that's a fact. That's true. You guys can look into it yourself if you don't believe what I'm saying. Like, that's a true story. So I filed a motion to drop the case. Like, I had a motion to preserve that, and you guys violated that. You know, but the way the law is written, I don't know if it's like that in all 50 states or if that's just a New Jersey thing, but you have to prove that they did it in bad faith. How am I going to do that? It's just their word against mine, and they're the cops. But that was their story. They're like, oh, well, it's a simple mistake. We didn't mean to. So then, while they were having the hearing for that, my mom had driven up from Tennessee to New Jersey, and my parents were there. Or maybe, no, I think that was at my first trial. They had like a tech guy there, and the prosecutor and that guy went into a room, and my mom and dad like went over to the room they were in and put their ears to the door, and they heard that prosecutor in there laughing about it. And they said, well, if it was a matter of national security, it could be brought back. They were saying they could undo what was recorded over that stuff and bring it back if it was a matter of national security, but it wasn't, because it was just me, you know, like, I don't matter. But yeah, there's a lot of wild stuff. Oh, I told you I'd get on tangents, so I never even finished telling you about Pete Papasavis and Kevin Planker. But I did tell you what he did. But so anyway, I came back home. I came back to the cell, and I said, Planker, look what Pete did. And I showed him that, and Planker was just like, that mother. And we were locked down at the time, and as soon as count time or whatever, we were locked. I mean, Trenton is mostly locked down anyway, but they popped their doors to go eat, to go get lunch. And as soon as the doors opened, Planker went straight up to Papasavis and threw him in a rear naked choke and just choked him unconscious and dropped his body in the floor. And the cops, like the police, they have a big glass bubble, and they're standing there watching that, and they never even, they're, you know, they're supposed to hit a code. But yeah, Planker choked him. Planker choked out several people. I don't know how the hell he kept from getting us like jumped by like 50 people. Like he's not scared. Put it that way. But I watched him choke out a lot of people, actually. If you guys want to hear about that, let me know in the comments, and I'll tell you some stories about it. So let's see, I covered about Emily and all that. I told you about Pete and Kevin because you guys asked about those guys particularly. Oh, also, while we're talking about heinous, atrocious stuff, I'll tell you another example of why it bothered me so much. Like another reason why I just felt like, why am I here? So, well, before I do that, I'll tell you real quick. I got a job because I had a high school diploma and I scored high on they give you like intelligence tests, I guess, and I had a high score on that, so I was like allowed to be like a teacher's aide. You know, I could get certain jobs that other people couldn't get. So they offered me it was a social worker assistant job. And the cop that worked on, and I worked on in the special needs ADSEG unit. So there was a bunch of crazy people there. And the cop that ran that tier was named Bernstein. And one day he stopped me and he was like, "Hey, what are you here for?" And I told him. And I guess he went home and he looked my case up on the internet. And he said, he came back and he was like, "Man, it's exactly like you said." He's like, "Man, I can't believe it." He's like, "You don't," or well, no, before he ever even looked my case up, he was like, "You don't belong here." He's like, what are you here for?" And like, he just knew I was different, I guess. But anyway, so I'll go back to when I was in the county jail. I got into a fight with these two brothers and one of their friends. So like, it was over the TV. Like, when I first got there, I didn't even watch no TV because the way it worked in that jail, it was like who'd ever been there the longest got to control the TV. So I fell back, you know. I didn't even try to watch no TV. But then after like 6 months, everybody was gone that it was there when I first got there, and I was the last guy there. And really, like, people just brought me the remote. Like, it was like I didn't even do it, you know. It just happened. Like, they're like, "Oh no, that's Gentry's TV." But it was one night, like, I really wanted to watch prison shows because I'd never been to prison, and I just wanted to see like what prison's like and watch these shows. And really, I wanted a guitar so bad. Like, that was the one thing. I was like, if I could just go to a prison where they get guitars, you know, I'll just spend all my time playing guitar and I'll be super badass, you know, and I can at least do one thing that I've always wanted to do and accomplish that. But one night, I know I'm like rambling like hell, but one night I was waiting on lockup to come on, and this guy like wanted to watch Wedding Crashers or something, and I was like, "Nah, lockup's about to come on." And the dude was like, "We ain't watching that." And I just looked at him and I was like, "Who the hell are you?" And the dude stood up and hooked off on me. So I'm just like, "All right." And I got up, you know, like, I'm not gonna let nobody punch me and just take it, you know. So I started rocking with the dude, and his brother and one of their friends came running, and almost like that frog shit where his little brother came running and Goldberg speared me. Like, I'm always getting jumped. But anyway, I handled it pretty well, and ended up going to the hole for fighting. Even though the dude hooked off on me first, they didn't care. Like, it was, you know, I fought back, so I got in trouble too. But I was down in the hole, and they take all your property. You can't have no books or no commissary or no nothing. You know, they just lock you in a room for a month. And I talked somebody into sliding me a magazine, something to read, you know, just because it's super boring to just sit there and stare at the wall for a month. And he had slid me under a magazine of Weird New Jersey. I don't know if you guys ever heard of that, but it started off Weird New Jersey. Now they have Weird every state. Weird Illinois, Weird Tennessee, Weird Kentucky, Weird Virginia. It became a pretty popular thing. But at that... Oh, shit. I'm about to burn my house down. And... So this Weird New Jersey magazine, it was a special edition called Nightshade on the Passaic, and it was this guy, and he had like this canoe, and he called it Nightshade, and he was canoeing up and down the Passaic River. And the whole it was a special edition magazine of Weird New Jersey. It was all about weird shit that had to do with the Passaic River. And there was a story in there about these two brothers that were stopped on the bridge over the Passaic River in Paterson, New Jersey. And the cops saw them just parked on the bridge and pulled over to see if they were in trouble or if they were broke down or what was up. And I guess he got up to the car and he could tell that they were nervous, and he searched the car and he found, I don't remember how young the girl was, but it was a young girl, and they had chopped her up and had her in duffel bags and was getting ready to throw her body parts into the river. And so I've told you guys about being back in AdSeg for smoking weed, and there was this little guy, and they called him Peru, and his name was Jonathan Zarate. And I remember when I first got back there, they were saying like, hey, they came to me and was like, country, Peru's scared to go outside because of you. And I'm like, what? Was he scared to go outside because of me? He's like, oh, because so-and-so had popped them and that's your homies or whatever. And I was just like, man, I don't care nothing about that. Like, you could tell Peru he can go outside. Like, he don't got, I ain't trying to do nothing to him. And anyway, I played basketball with this dude for months, you know, like we didn't go out to yard every day because we were in AdSeg. I think we had rec once every 5 days for 2 hours. And we got to go out in a concrete box with a basketball goal. And that's what we did. We played basketball. And another story too, if you guys want to hear it. There's like this famous rapper. He's part of like Dipset, I think. Max B. I don't know if you guys ever heard of Max B, but everybody in Trenton rode his dick because he, like Jim Jones or French Montana put $100,000 on his commissary, and everybody just treated this dude like he was something special. But anyway, I used to beat his ass at basketball every day. But so after I got back out of AdSeg, I went back to the South Compound, and I remember one day I was out in the yard, and I was like talking to this Dominican dude, and he was Peru's bunkie, and I was kind of like going off like, man, all these people with all these sick ass charges, like this weird, all these weirdos, man, like I don't belong here. And he said, man, you can't worry about what charges people got in here, man, because if you did, you know, you wouldn't talk to nobody, you know, and that's just the way it is. He said, you know what Peru did, don't you? And I was like, nah. And he told me, and that's when I realized that I had read about him when I was in the county jail. I had read about him in that weird, it was him and his brother that chopped that girl up. So I guess the moral of the story is, you know, you can't always, like, there's monsters, man. And, you know, some people might think I look like a scary dude, but, like, I'm a benevolent person. And you can't never judge somebody by, you know, people can seem normal as hell and have done the most atrocious things that you couldn't believe. So this, I guess I'm coming up to like a half hour. This is already going to take me like 24 hours to upload or something probably, but I'm sorry that this is not like professionally done. I know like Joe, he makes like some really good videos, and I mean this is like the first take. Like I feel like if I wanted to try and get everything perfect, I would never put nothing out, because I would just keep going over and trying to make everything super right. So like this is me, and I wanted to get a video out to you guys because I don't want to let you down. Like I'm super proud that you guys subscribe to my channel and you want to listen to me, hear me talk, and I want to make it worth it for you. And like I said, like I've been for the last couple nights, I was like, man, I gotta make a video. And tonight I had to make it happen. So if you guys want to know about anything else, if you got any questions you want to ask me other than that, I know like I've been kind of on like the spirituality, magic tip, but that's the type of stuff that I'm into. But I know that since, you know, you guys came from APS, you might want to hear more about prison stuff. So you guys just tell me what you want to hear about, and I'll do a video on it. I'll go back over and tell the whole story about the the Legends incident. If you want to hear that again, I know somebody said that I need to put the whole story on this channel. I was hoping to just get Joe's interviews, and put them on my channel somehow, but I don't even know how to do that, but I'll figure it out. So thanks again. I love all you guys, man, and I appreciate it so much, and I'll talk to you soon.